I'm Laura Ray. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to have so much fun because we're testing 4 of the world's best concealers, and I have them right in my hands here, and I purchased all of them. These are concealers that I have used, and I've just read so many great reviews on social media, magazines, customer comments, those types of things. So I thought, let's do a comparison of these and see which one works the best. So the ones we're testing are the Lancome Tint Idol, the Estee Lauder Double Wear, the Nars Creamy Concealer, and also the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum. This is the only one from the drugstore that we're testing. The way I'm going to do this is on 2 separate days. The first day, I paired the Estee Lauder Double Wear with the Lancome. They're both supposed to be very long-lasting concealers, and they're both similar in price, so I thought these would be good to pair up against one another. The second day, I'm pairing the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer with the NYX Bear With Me. They have a very similar finish, and so I thought these would be good to pair. Now, the winning concealers, 2 of them, I am wearing right now. So I'll share that with you towards the end of the video. Before we start the test, I want to explain what I'm evaluating these concealers on. I came up with 5 categories that I think are really important for anyone that is wanting to purchase a concealer. The first would be, is it lightweight? Nobody, especially over the age of 50, wants a heavy concealer in their under eyes. Now, I'm also going to, during the test, apply the concealer around my nose, which I have to explain. It's not really a fair test because on one side I have more broken capillaries than the other. I have a little bit on this side, more on this side. So it's not really fair to the concealer that's on that side, but I think we get a good enough view of what's going on during the wear test. The second category is it crease resistant? Does it get into fine lines and wrinkles during the day? The third, hydration. Is this drying in the under eyes? That can be very problematic for those of us that already have dry under eyes. Coverage. Do these cover under eye circles? I don't have super dark under eye circles, but I do have some darkness here. And because I have deep set eyes, sometimes shadows are sort of cast on the edge of the eye. And the last one, longevity. Are these going to hold up at least 8 hours? Before we get into the test, I want to say that both days I applied the B Naturals Peeper Keeper Bright Eyes Riche. This is one of my all-time favorite eye creams. I really need eye cream in the under eye to keep my under eyes moisturized. I would apply this under any concealer that I use. Otherwise, my under eyes are too dry. Now, I also didn't want to use an expensive brush. I wanted this to be as affordable as possible. So I went back to the wedge sponge. You'll see me using that for blending because these are so super affordable and they still work really great. The other thing is for all the days I used the same foundation, which is the Crease HD Liquid Foundation. I applied the concealer first so you could see it all by itself without any foundation, and then I just matched the foundation under the concealer so it would all blend. But I didn't put foundation on top of the concealer. I wanted to see how the concealer would work on its own. Another thing that is a big thing you need to know, I used no setting spray and no powder. And that was because I really wanted to see how it would hold up without any of those things. And those things really help. Powder and setting spray really helps, especially in the under eyes, to keep them looking nice. But we're just going to see how the products worked on their own. Let's start off with the Estee Lauder results. Very lightweight, crease resistant, not so much. In this area of my eyes here, I can tell you a tip that will really help to stop this from happening. But if you don't do this, it's going to crease. What I have to do, and I've done this for many years, is take a Q-tip, pull the eye, and go into this section after it sits for a minute to get off any little bit of product that might collect. When I don't, stuff collects there typically, and it did with the Estee Lauder Double Wear. As far as the surrounding areas, I didn't see any creasing or anything in the outer corner. That part of it looked great. It was just this section here that was a little bit problematic. Hydrating, I didn't feel it was hydrating. I thought my under eyes, they were covered at the end of the day, but they looked dry. And the coverage I thought was really good. The longevity was great. At the end of the day, I felt like I still had some coverage. It wasn't like you could see all the dark circles. When I'm looking to see how it looks at the end of the day, I'm looking with my very magnified mirror that I have. So I can see very small things that someone that would be talking with me or looking at me would not see. And you won't see them as clearly on camera as I can up close with this big magnified mirror. But I did see a little bit of creasing in here, but not horrible. Now, the Lancome, it was pretty much the same thing. I had some creasing in here. I felt like it was a little more so with the Lancome. This is very lightweight. As far as crease resistant, it was great out here. I didn't see it collecting in any of my sort of smile lines there. The main area where there was an issue is in here. And like I said, if I had maybe held my skin out more, gotten in there a little better to make sure I had every little bit of product, then maybe it would have worked out better. But I did go over it with a sponge. I did some things, so it wasn't like I neglected that area, but it didn't dry down in that area. It somehow slipped into those little creases and I could see it. As far as hydrating, I thought it was okay, but again, at the end of the day, I thought my under eyes looked a little bit dry. I had good coverage from it, and the longevity, I thought it held up pretty nicely. Overall, these were good concealers, but I wouldn't rate them the best. By the way, people online also said that they needed powder for the Lancome to be set, that if they didn't, that they had creasing. Now let's talk about day 2 of the test. On day 2, I paired the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer against the NYX Bear With Me. Again, the NYX is so much more affordable than these, and you get a lot of product with the NYX too. This has 0.32 ounces in it. The Nars has actually 0.22 ounces in it. So this has a lot more product. Now you don't have an applicator with this, you have a pump, and you're never going to need a full pump. When I pump this out, I barely move it and get some on the back of my hand. Now that would be enough for 2 eyes. So you use so little, these last a long time. And I will have all of the shades listed in the description of the video and all of the links there. And thank you so much for shopping those links and for supporting my channel. The Nars is medium to full coverage, and it's actually made for dry skin types or mature eyes. There are so many celebrities that love this. I don't always follow what the celebrities do, but it was interesting as I researched this product how many celebrities have used it and talked about it over the years because it's been out for a really long time. There were some complaints about it being a little patchy, and I can see why that would happen because of it being so creamy and blending, and sometimes you can blend away. I found that patting it into the skin is really important. That sort of gives the best look. And you'll see here that I'm using sometimes my finger and then going in with the sponge. Now, I paired it against the NYX Bear With Me concealer. This is one I've raved about for a long time as a great affordable concealer. People say about it that it's lightweight, it's brightening, it's hydrating, and I love that word hydrating. This has medium coverage. Now, some people complained about this, that it's too creamy if you don't set it with a powder. I won't be setting it with a powder for this, so we'll see how it goes. So let's evaluate the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. Is it lightweight? I felt it was. I didn't feel it in the under eyes. It was super comfortable. Crease resistant, I felt like that was pretty good. It was better than the Lancome and the Estee Lauder. That if I just take a Q-tip or really press in there and make sure I don't get too much product in that area where I have these little microscopic fine lines, it looks sort of like a tic-tac-toe board in here. As long as I get very little product there and keep more of the product on the outside of the eye, this looked amazing. Was it hydrating? Absolutely. Much more hydrating than the Estee Lauder or the Lancome. And did I get coverage? I felt like I got the coverage that I needed. The longevity was great. I felt like as the day went on and I was dancing around and exercising and doing the things that I do, that it looked a little dewier, a little better. It definitely did not look dry at the end of the day. Let's talk about the NYX Bear With Me Concealer. This really does feel like a serum. I think of the four, it's the most hydrating. When I put it on, I feel like I'm sort of putting on an eye cream, but it's still lightweight and it packs a punch when it comes to the pigment. It really seems to cover so much. A lot of people I've heard squirt little areas of their whole face and use it as a foundation. So it really offers great coverage. Now, we'll sort of go through the evaluation. Is it lightweight? I still say it's very lightweight. It feels comfortable in the under eyes. Grease resistant. Once it starts to dry down, it's a little tacky at first, but once it dries down, beautiful. It was not sliding around. Before I was done with my makeup and ready to move on, I just took the wedge sponge and went underneath because it was my fault, user fault. I put a little too much. So as long as I went like this, it did not wipe off the whole product. And because some concealers you'll wipe away and then you see your skin that you took off everything. It was still there, just a little less and better blended. Is it hydrating? You already know that. Yes, this is the most hydrating of the four. Coverage, I think this gives incredible coverage. It covers redness. It covered around my nose really great. And the longevity of this, it was beautiful at the end of the day. I thought it looked incredible. My under eyes still look good. They felt hydrated. They didn't feel dried out like I did with the Lancome and with the Estee Lauder. Let's talk about the nose. I did the nose area because I know a lot of people buy concealer not for the under eyes, but to cover redness or to cover acne. I used to use concealer all the time to cover my acne that I had. So we're not always buying it just to cover dark circles. They did amazing around the nose. Now with all of them, I still could see a little bit at the end of the day, even with the NYX, of the lines. But unless someone was so close to me, I don't think they would notice. So when I look at all four, I can clearly see that the Nars Radiant Concealer did great around my nose. It really looked beautiful. It blended in nicely with the rest of my skin, and so did the NYX. I want to say that I think all of these are great concealers. I've talked about the Estee Lauder before in a YouTube short when I first purchased it, and I really liked it, and I still do. I just have to be a little more strategic with it and be really careful about using a Q-tip and making sure I have enough moisture in the under eyes, because if I don't, it will collect in the little tic-tac-toe board here, and my under eyes later will look dry. I have mentioned before that I didn't like this concealer. The Lancome, I've heard so many mature women say they loved it. And this isn't my first rodeo with the Lancome. And I talked about it and I just could not get it to work. It just kept catching in my little fine lines and making my under eyes look worse. And I thought, well, I would give it another chance because I keep hearing all these people raving about it. But it just did not work for me. I bought the Nars Radiant Concealer years ago. I've bought it a few times in the smaller sizes to use it in videos. And actually, I love this so much more than I thought I would. I really liked the coverage. It gave great coverage. But my winner is the NYX. Isn't that great when something super affordable wins? I love this stuff. It is amazing. I've talked about it so many times. Today I'm wearing the Nars on this side of my face, and on the other side, the NYX. I can't see much of a difference. I say that this is just such an incredible concealer. And again, if these work for you, I think that's wonderful. And I'll probably use these in other parts of my face where I don't have lines. You know, if I want to cover up something on the cheek or the chin, somewhere if I get a breakout, these will be fine. But my preference for the under eyes would be the NYX or the Nars. I think both of them are incredible concealers. Let me know down below if you've tried any of these. I would love to hear your experience. Maybe they worked amazing for you. I really put these to the test. I mean, I used my major magnifying mirror on this side to check out every line. I just did as much as I could to give you the best information. So I hope this video was helpful. Thank you for supporting my channel in all of the ways that you do. You've been so kind to me, and I really appreciate you all so much. I hope you have a blessed week, and I'll see you soon.